Welcome everyone, welcome to this week's stream. My name is Aurélien and we'll be talking about Fedora infrastructure applications again. So, where do we start? Alright, let me check that if there's people here, not so much for the moment. Okay, I'll give you a couple minutes to join the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, it's a replay of course, of my Twitch stream, which is at, well, I guess you can look at the Twitch stream is notified on Fedora's Matrix channels. There's a Fedora Devil, Fedora Infrastructure, of course, well, Infrastructure it's called, and apps. So Devil, Infrastructure, and apps on Fedora's Matrix community, that's how it's called. And I also broadcast it on my personal Mastodon handle. So my handle is abompard at pi.fr, but I'm sure you'll be able to find that. Okay. Okay, let us start. So let me share the screen. I'll show you what we can work on today. All right. So there it is. Okay. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. Okay. So this is the list of issues that have been tagged as easy fix in a lot of repo. It's opt-in, so basically any repo that opts in using the wiki here. But yeah, there's a Fedora Infra group here, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. Before anything too serious starts, let me drink a little bit of tea. Hopefully it's ready now. It is ready, perfect. Okay. All right, so what do we have? What is there for us to work on? Data grapper, yeah, there's still data grapper with a possible list of topics. It's not a very high priority, so I'm gonna focus on other things. I'm gonna make a list of issues that we could work on. It's gonna be a short list, and hopefully if there's people in the stream, we'll be able to set up some voting and have people vote on what they would like me to work on. Data number, headers, JSON grep argument. It's a missing API feature. It's all there in the database. It's just not there in the API for us to query easily. So we could fix that, but it's not really a very high priority because nobody's using it right now. So FASJSON. There's some Python package management to do, like moving the tests out of the main Python package because we don't need to have them installed when we install FASJSON actually. There's documentation issues, Fedora messaging. There's like the reuse is a tool to make sure that all the files have the proper licensing. That's pretty useful, but it's also Python package management. All right, FML. Delayed notifications have misleading timestamps. That's been there for a while. That's one of the things that I could be looking at. So let me write that down in some text file. So FMN 1145. This is, yeah, it's kind of like the other. This one, I don't have a lot of time today because I have a meeting in about an hour. So I can do something too big, and I think this Mirror Manager 2 issue is a little bit too big. If I want to go into the necessary detail to explain what I'm doing. So yeah, maybe not this one today. Cache the FASJSON queries in Bugzilla2Fedmsg. That's perfectly doable. And it's also very useful because I see it do a lot of similar queries. So that's going to help FASJSON a little bit. Sorry. Fed badges. Yes, Make the list of band user configurable. That is totally in the range of the things that I can do in an hour. It's gonna take even less than that. So, and you stun crier, okay. That's this one is a little bit too big. Replace the badge builder form interior. That's a little bit too big. This one has been assigned. Let me check where it's at. So let me ping them so I know if they still work on it. All right. See, I think this one is already there. Badges monthly leaderboard misses the last day. Okay. That's a very old one. 2015. Okay. It's probably still there though. Reasonable grammar fallback. Yeah. Created over 11 years ago. Yes. Okay. Convert the change log to markdown. A little bit of, it's a little bit of busy work, but it's going to be better once that's done. RIT lug. What else do we have? Fedora docs, quick docs, okay. Fedora QA, Neurosig. That's other groups, but yeah, okay. So I have there's three issues that I'd like to offer you to vote on if there are people, which there aren't at the moment. So I guess I'm just gonna vote with myself and just pick one. Okay. So, what should we do? I know that the list of band user, making that configurable is going to be short enough for the time span that we have today, which is an hour. It's short, but I'm pretty sure I can. I'm certain I can do that in an hour. It's probably not the most interesting thing though. Adding caching to Bugzilla2Fedmsg is probably a little more interesting, but I'm not sure that's gonna fit in an hour. It might. It might. The code is not very, very hard. It might. How long do I have? Let me check when my meeting is. Yeah. Yeah, it's short. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna do the Fed badges one. So it's gonna be about Fed badges. Where is it? There you are. Making the list of band user configurable, because my meeting is actually in like a little more than half an hour. So, all right, let's do this. So, oh wait. Did he want to look to do it? Really like to help, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Oh, I haven't assigned him. I'm gonna ask. Okay, like I would rather have somebody who hasn't contributed to Fedora to Fed badges do that, because that brings more people to the team, which is cool. So yeah. First one on FMN, that's gonna be a little bit too big. All right, you know what? I'm gonna start on the Bugzilla thing, the Bugzilla2Fedmsg one, and if I don't manage to finish it on time, then well, too bad. I'll do it next week. So, okay, let us start with this. What is this? It's 30 here. Okay, so I'm gonna assign it to myself, and let me start with a VS Code screen. Okay, that is not the one. Open. It's not there. Bug. Where are you? Bugzilla2Fedmsg, of course. Yeah, it's waking up. Hello, hello, hello. I have new stuff for you. Okay, what do we have in September? GitHub to Copilot. No way I'm going to use that. No, thank you. Ah, Python test coverage. That is interesting. Run with coverage. That is nice. Ooh, cool. Oh, lines are highlighted in the editor. That's pretty cool. Oh, I want to test that. Okay. Nice. Very nice. Can't wait to try that. Okay. First, let me get back to what I was doing, which is opening Bugzilla2Fedmsg. It's indeed in contrib. Okay. So the calls to FASJSON, I think, are always here. Like it's always FASJSON.circ. Let me make sure that we don't have that anywhere else. We do not. Where do we have reference to FASJSON itself? That is an example config file. Thank you very much. Yes, not that. Okay, it's defining the client. All right, cool. What is this client? That's okay. Oh yeah, that's just coming from FASJSON client. Oh, it's all good. Okay. So this is about creating the client, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Where else? It's just passing the reference to the object. That's cool. This is doing the hard work, the actual work. This is configuration. Okay. All right. So what can we set up for caching? So first I'm going to zoom in because I'm pretty sure you can't see anything. Hopefully that's much better now. So this is a consumer, right? It's basically a consumer. How does this all work? So it has a message relay and a consumer. The consumer here is based on where is it? It's a Stomp consumer, and the library is Stompust, and it is a sync. It is the sync protocol, right? So whenever I get a message, where is it? Connect, blah blah blah. Okay, consume, right? Whenever I get a message here, I am processing it in a sync fashion. I'm not in async here. Okay, so relay.onStompMessage. Okay, so that happens in a sync fashion. That means that I need to have a caching library that is synchronous. I don't need to have one that is asynchronous. That makes things much easier. And I'm going to look at the libraries that I know. Of course, there's one that comes to mind, which is dogpilecache. Dogpilecache is a pretty famous caching library that is used in a lot of places. All right. It's used in a lot of places in our applications in the Fedora Infra. So I'm just going to use that, I think, right? So how do I start using it? Well, first I must add it as a dependency, right? This is maybe in front matter. Dogpile.cache. Okay, I'm just going to add it as a dependency. So let me get to my code. It's in Fedmsg contrib Bugzilla2Fedmsg. All right. Right. I'm going to update my fork. Fix, what's the number of my issue? 30. Fix 30. Okay, I have a new branch. Did I assign myself this? Yes, I did. Okay, now I can do a poetry add dogpile.cache. Right? That's how they told me to install it. Dogpile.cache. Do it. While you're doing it, I'm going to drink a little bit of tea. Nice. This is a very nice tea by Cosmiti. It's mint and rose, and they go very well together. Anyway, this is not a product placement. I am not paid by anybody to say that. It's just like it. All right. Yes, it's installed. Let me make sure that... Yes, I am running already from the virtual env, so I have everything. Okay, cool. So now, how do I set up caching? Well, that's a fair question. Let me look at the documentation. Usage guide. First thing they tell me is to create a cache region. All right, let's do this. And I know I'm going to use it in relay, but I'm going to put that in utils, right? That's where all the utils are. So let's do this. So from dogpile.cache, make region. Okay. Let me turn off some notifications here because they are noisy. Just a second. Where is this? Thank you. Cool. All right. So there's a region. Of course, this is all going to have to come from configuration, right? So I'm going to make something, I'm going to make a make region call here. And then I'm going to have a function called configure cache. That's going to take, well, some config argument. I don't know what yet. And I'm going to do here a region. Well, let's call it just cache here. And then cache.configure. I'm not sure that's going to be the caching library. This seems very, very naive. Okay, it all has to come from a configuration. Where was my thing? Okay, and then it wants me to do cache on arguments. Simply cache on arguments. All right. So that will be here, right? Cache on arguments, email, and FASJSON. The thing is, I don't want actually to cache on the, like, email, okay, that's fair, right? This is the argument that I'm going to send to FASJSON. So email is fair, but FASJSON, nah, I don't want to cache on that. I want to cache only on the email, right? FASJSON, the FASJSON object is not something that is going to be significant, right? So I'm not going to use cache on arguments, that would be too easy. Or what I could do is, I could do something simpler to make use of their infrastructure. Just make a like an internal function here, and this is what I'm going to cache on. Oops, no, sorry. I still want to do this. So it's called cache in my function, and I'm going to cache on argument this thing. So it's going to use FASJSON as in the fixture, so from outside of the function as the in the environment, and email is the argument that I'm going to cache on. Okay, that should work. And now my result is going to be FASJSON search email. There you go. And the result, yeah, the result is what I'm going to put in my cache. So I could even do something a little bit better, which is handle all that inside the function. Right? And then I'm just going to do return this, right? So I have this internal function that is cached. It's coming from email. It's using email as the cache in the cache key. So that's going to be a different cache from each email, which is exactly what we want. It's going to do all the debugging stuff, looking for a fast user with, well, that could actually be here, because otherwise when it's hitting the cache, I'm not going to see this log. So yeah. Well, yeah, okay. If I want my logging, I should have it outside. Otherwise, I'm never going to see it when I hit my cache. Well, it's debug log after all. I mean, it's debug logging, so I should be maybe, yeah. Let me keep it that way. And this, I'm going to still put it here. Looking for a fast user, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Searching FASJSON. So this way, when I'm hitting the cache, I'm not going to see those logs, but I'm still going to see this one. And I'll be able to know when I'm hitting the cache and when I'm not, because there's going to be more debug logs. Okay, good. Let's keep it that way. So I have this cache on argument, all the very basic things that is advertised by this library. So I'm sure I'm not making a very big mistake here. And there's the configure question now. Okay. So I want to have somewhere in my configuration the configuration for the caching itself. Or I should say, I want to be able to specify how long I want to cache for this very function. I don't want it to be a too generic thing. Yeah, well, I'm very tempted to over-engineer things here. Let's keep it simple. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's the example configuration file. Cool. Okay, somewhere here, I want to have the caching configuration. So there's consumer config.stomp here, all good, config.bugzilla, and I should have something like consumer config.cache. And this is the arguments that I'm going to pass to my caching configuration function. Okay, so what should I expect here? What I'm going to use another library, another piece of code that I've already written in FMN. Or should I do FMN? Yeah, it's not exactly the same library, but let's keep it anyway. Okay, FMN core config. What did I put? Yeah, cache args model. Okay, that's not that. Okay, cache model. Okay, there's URL, setup args. Okay, I suppose that's fine. Do I have a default configuration in my code? Maybe not. Okay, so what I need to do now, I have this, and I'm going to put what docpile.cache expects as a configuration. So where the documentation for configuration here? That's the driver, that's the expiration time, arguments, where is it? Right here. Backend, that's how they call it. Okay, backend. So I'm gonna have backend equal, let's give it a default, maybe memory. Memory is fine because we're not going to use that long, so. Cache backend to use, okay, blah, 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 okay. Expiration time. I can cache things for like 60 seconds probably. I mean, that's very small, but how frequently? Like my risk would be to assign the Bugzilla, like set the wrong owner if somebody has changed their Red Hat email address. Yeah, I think 60 seconds is short, but sure, because yeah. What I really want to cache is multiple requests to FASJSON from the same ticket. And the same ticket, sorry, is going to be processed in a couple seconds. So 60 is plenty. I'm going to set for a little higher, a little more aggressive caching, I think, and maybe set something like 300 seconds, like 5 minutes. Yeah, okay. All right. So I have backend. What would I suggest as default? Do I have my list of backends? Probably do have my list of backends somewhere. Backends. There you go. Memory backend. Okay. So that's the driver. Okay, docpile.cache.memory. Okay, cool. That's a good example. Then I say that I wanted to have expiration time. Cool. Let me make sure that I don't make a typo. By default, that's gonna be okay. Let's go with 60 first, and we'll see. We'll see. I think a pretty good improvement already. We'll see if we need to go higher than that, but that's already pretty good. I'm pretty sure I can catch a couple bugs from the same with these 60 seconds. Like I'm pretty sure I can save quite a few queries to FASJSON already. It's not like it's really needed to do a very aggressive caching. So I'm gonna set a default to that. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Do I have defaults in this? Oh yeah, wait, let's finish this. Let's finish this. Where was I? Right here. What else do I want? I want arguments. So arguments, it's gonna be an empty dictionary here because we do not need an argument, I think. Or I can unset it. I don't know. Wrap. Yeah, I don't need all that. Okay, backend arguments. Okay. Right. So it can use a dictionary. That's interesting. I'm going to use that. Configure from config. That's going to use a dictionary with a prefix. Okay, that's cool. So here we are in our utils. Let's go back to utils. Where is utils? That is right here. And let's go to this. Okay, config, and that's going to be just the cache config, right? And I'm going to do a cache.configure from config. That is the config it. Cache config. And the prefix. And I don't think I need a prefix. Do I actually need a prefix? Apparently it's not optional. That's going to be an empty string then. Okay. Do I really need this then? Nah. You know what? Let me not do that. Because I want to have, do I want to have defaults? Do we have defaults here? Like when I create FASJSON, do I have defaults? FASJSON is created in relay. Where was it created? I don't remember. Oh yeah, it's right here. Okay, it assumes that it is set in the configuration. So it does want to, okay. So in that case, I'm just going to, yeah, in that case, I'm going to assume that the configuration is set properly and not set any defaults. So I think that's sufficient. In which case, I really don't need to have a specific function for that. I mean, this goes away, right? Then it's just a matter of importing cache from there. Let's do this, right? So here from utils, I'm also going to import cache. And I'm going to set up the cache in the message relay. Cache.configure from config, and that's the configuration that I'm going to use. So there's self.config of cache. Thank you. That would be me having shut down my microphone for no good reason. Thanks for pointing that out. I hope that's better now. At least I see my ViewMaker move. It's just like I have an itch in my throat right now. So sometimes I cough, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna turn off my microphone before coughing, which is a good idea. Except you need to turn it back on afterwards, obviously. Thanks. All right, so where was I? Yes, so I'm looking at the tests, and that was yeah. So I want to I'm changing the configuration here, and I didn't realize that it's instantiated in different places. It's also instantiated here, so it needs a cache key. Probably the same, by the way. Yeah, probably the same. I should just, you know what? I should just make it easier. Just have a default. I'm gonna have a fixture for the config. So that's gonna be test config, and I'm just gonna return this. So in my test relay, I can just use this and test config. And now, yes, I can just return it now. And now in whenever I'm instantiating this, which is, why did I do this? I have no idea. What happened? Oh, mistyped. Anyway, so whenever I'm instantiating this, I can just use test config. Wait, am I actually using that in this function? Oh, looks like I am. Anyway, I can use test config and change the things that I want from the result. So test config. What am I doing different? This is a good case for split screens. My test config here is FASJSON URL. Bugzilla is product, Fedora Apple. Of course, with the zoom, it's making it pretty unreadable. Let me try to, okay. Oh yeah, there's BZ compat 4. Okay, so my change here, that's gonna make things even clearer in the test, which I like. Bugzilla, what I'm changing here is just to have, I'm not changing the products, right? They're still the same. I'm just adding this actually. BZ4 compat. BZ4 compat equal true. So now I can use test config right here, and I don't need to bother with all that. Okay. And now I know even more precisely what I changed here. Okay. Where am I instantiating this again? Right here. Okay. So test config. Ooh, sorry. Yes. What am I changing here? Looks like it's, oh yeah, it's BZ compat equal false. I think it's very boring. Well, it's like, it's one of those things, you know, you're doing something boring, but you're anticipating the happiness of seeing it all pass. It's just, yes, I know it's boring, but I make myself do it by trying to get it right the first time. So it becomes a challenge, trying to get all the tests clear on the first pass. And then it becomes a challenge, and I can get myself to do it. Otherwise, I agree, it's kind of boring. But there's good ways and bad ways to write tests. And I'm trying to avoid the bad ways, the very tempting ways of cut and pasting everything, the bad ways of just testing your own test, like duplicating your code and not actually testing the right thing. But yeah, when something is boring, you have to find a way to make it interesting and try to get them right the first time. Works for me. Test config, because it's not so frequent. I mean, how many times do you get all your tests right the first time? My answer for myself is very not often at all. And I've been doing this for a while, so. All right, message relay. Oops, again, I can't find the right key on my keyboard. Well done. Test. Okay, I think that's gonna be all. Is it saved? Yes. Let's start. Failed, obviously. Oh yeah, it's a test in test schema. Okay, so that might be simpler than I thought. Because that is actually a different file. And of course, it probably has a single instantiation of the publisher, of the relay. Yes, it's just right here. And I'm just gonna add the cache. Backend. And I want the null backend that I had before. Should I put that? Should I put that in the generic fixture? Oh, it's already a parameterized fixture, so maybe not. That is the backend that I want. Hello, Linux Returned, how are you doing? So we are adding caching to Bugzilla2Fedmsg, which is a relay from Bugzilla to Fedora messaging. And in doing that, it makes a call to FASJSON to resolve the Bugzilla email address into a FAS username. And this is done multiple times per request. I'm trying to alleviate that load by adding caching, basically. Okay, this should make things better. Did I have something open? No, I do not. Okay, there's still one thing that is failing, and that is... Okay. Why is it failing? Oh yes, oh yes, disabled. Yeah, that's the contrary, of course. 187. Yeah, let me show you what I mean by that. If I look at my changes, where is it? Right here. This was busycompat equal false, and I replaced that by busycompat equal true. Well done. So line 182. Of course, the test failed, which is a good sign because it means that my test is actually testing something. That's abusive cut and paste. Okay, I think this time it should work. All right, so now I need to be testing the things that I've added, right? I developed mobile applications with React Native. Okay, cool. I'm actually a journal developer, so I get bored when I hit test. Well, yeah, all code needs to be tested. There's a very old saying that any code that is not testing is actually broken, but you don't necessarily know it. And so, yeah, I know it's boring, but I think that when you will need to refactor your code in a very significant way for the first time, you will be happy to have tests. And since you will not have them, you will be cursing yourself for not writing them in the first place. Like when you have a very important application, not necessarily one that you wrote, by the way, it might come from somebody else's code, and you're like, okay, I must not break any existing feature, but I need to almost rewrite the entire thing or rewrite a significant part of it or reorganize the code in some way. And you're like, okay, I have no safety net. It's going to break somewhere, but I don't know where. So you end up testing your thing manually, and you're like, okay, I'm doing manually what a computer should do. And I'm sure that's going to change your point of view on testing. Also, when you think you're doing it right and you have like tons of users raising errors or raising tickets with you because of course you forgot some corner cases. That's really, I mean, testing has to be done. It can be done by a human or a computer. And most of the time, it's better if it's done by a computer. Most of the time, not always. Some testing is better done by humans. Usually UX things like this box is overflowing because the text that I've put there, I thought it was short, but actually in check, it's very long and I didn't expect it and it's overflowing and it's breaking my layout. You know, this sort of thing. That's very hard to test by a computer. It's possible, but very hard. No need to write tests for everything. What do you think? Well, it depends on, not everything, of course. I would say you don't need to write tests if you are writing a proof of concept that you know for sure is never going to be actually used in production, which is way less proof of concepts than people realize because it's very common for at least parts of proof of concepts to end up in production. So for this sort of thing, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, tests don't make sense. They don't make sense for things that you really want to experiment with and you don't know where you're going, because in that case, you're going to be rewriting your test all the time because you don't know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going. So, of course, you're going to write twice the code. So yeah, there's places where it makes sense. Small scale work, sometimes it does. I think it depends on how long you want your code to live. If your code is supposed to be living for like 2 months, okay, that's fine, no tests. If your code is supposed to be living for 2 years or 5 years, then that's a different story, even if it's small. Because during that time, you will have, for example, a major upgrade of React or of one of the libraries that you use, and React has a lot of libraries that are not including with React itself, like jQuery or Redux, and if those have a major upgrade and you're just upgrading and you think it works, but you haven't unit tested to prove it, then it may break in some corner case. And as we all know, most of the time we spend is trying to handling the corner cases. So I'd say it's more a question of how long do you want your code to live, how many people are working with you, and how well do you know what you're trying to do? If you're experimenting totally and really don't know where you're going, yeah, of course, don't write tests first, as in theory you should, even though even I don't do this. Anyway. No worries. No, I mean it's okay to interrupt. If I don't want to be interrupted, I'll just do a video. I'll just do a screen cap and have like, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. I'm always happy if I can answer questions. So that's all good. Yes. So code is passing, right? How do I test what I'm actually doing? So I want to add a test that makes sure that I'm hitting the cache. And for that, I'm going to go to utils. No, not utils. The testing of utils. Where is it? It is not there. Okay. Let me just use the test relay then. Let's just take a basic test, such as, yeah, that sounds like a basic test. Yeah, okay, let's reuse this one. I'm going to call it tests cache. I'm going to put that at the bottom because I'm going to be doing things differently. So test cached FASJSON. All right. All right, all right. I'm going to instantiate my consumer differently. Should actually use this one, right? Yeah, I should probably use this one instead. I'm going to use this one instead. It's going to save me some typing. Even though I really dislike cut and paste in writing code, I think a lot of errors come from there, but that's a different story. Test cached FASJSON. Okay, so what I'm doing here is instead cache, I'm going to use a now that I think of it, I'm actually going to do things different. So I was thinking, yeah, you know, I can just instantiate my consumer again with a different configuration, and it'll work. Nope, my cache is a global object. I need to reconfigure it. So that's going to be my test relay. I'm going to use my test relay. It's just that I'm going to have a fixture here, a special fixture, which is going to be called real cache. Def real cache. And it's going to take nothing. I don't need anything else. And I'm going to do a reconfiguration of the cache by doing Bugzilla utils cache dot configure cache. Configure. The backend is going to be memory. What was it? That was my default here, right? Yes, it was. That is going to be my real cache configuration. So backend is going to be the memory. And I'm going to have an expiration time of, well, it doesn't really matter. Enough for the test to pass. I think that's good. And I'm going to add the argument that I saw in the documentation for the configuration. That was in region. Where is the configure? It's probably there. It's not sorted by, it's not alphabetically sorted. Too bad. Oh yes, it is. Okay. Cache configure. Okay. Replace existing backend equal true. Replace existing backend equal true. That is going to be, oh yes, I do need my test config. That's going to be my reconfiguration of the cache. Now the test is going to go. Yeah, it's a fixture, by the way. Now test is going to be run, and after the test is run, I configure it back to my default set. Configure from config, test config, oopsie, sorry. Config of cache. And do I also have a replace? Do I have a replace when I do this? Oh, I do not. Okay. Well then, I'm just gonna do this and replace. Hey, it's the configure. Configure, replace existing backend true. Okay, so I'm in my fixture. I am switching to an actual cache based on memory and then back to the null cache. Okay, so it's going to need test real cache. Thank you very much. This is of course all wrong, and I'm using my test relay. That's one word. Yes. What's my fake FASJSON? Is that from the conf test? Yes. Yes, I can test how many searches I've done. That's cool. So I can do assert fake FASJSON dot wait, what? That's the client, right? So that search fake FASJSON dot, I'm very late for my meeting, but that's fine. Search dot call count equal 1. Okay, I do it once. I have a call to fake FASJSON, that's fine. I do it a second time. I'm actually going to do that. I do it a second time, and I still have 1 in my calls to FASJSON. So that will, then I'll know that the cache has been hit. I can even do something better, and I can do something even better and look for the logs, right? So I'm going to do this. It's, how's it called? It's caplog, the fixture, the PyTest fixture. I can look at the logs here, print caplog.messages, and I'm going to print it again, but here. Let's run this and see where that takes us. How is it called? Test cached FASJSON. Let's run this. It fails. Oh, I already get 2? Why do I get 2? Should be 1. How can I get 2? Oh yes, maybe there's 2 inside. Okay. Oh yes, okay. Maybe the bug contains 2 email addresses. Okay, that's possible. How do I know that? Bug create message. There's extra QA and there's dig and chef. Okay, yeah, that's the reason. Oh yeah, there's him assigned 2. Okay, so all right, so that makes sense. Here I have 2 calls because the message contained 2 email addresses that I need to resolve, so that's fine. And it should still be 2 and not 4 when I reach the other end. When I do it a second time, it should hit the cache and not call the function again. 1 passed. Cool. So it doesn't show me the text, so I'm gonna avoid capturing the output. Okay. I should have empty list, empty list. Oh yeah, I need to set my log level. So caplog set level. I think that's how it's done. And that should be logging debug. Of course, I need to import logging. Do it again. Ah, that's a lot more. I see. Looking for fuzz. Okay. No value present for key. Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's a lot more debug than I would like to. How do I set that? Can I? Let me see the caplog fixture. Caplog. Okay. Get records, text, record tuples, messages, clear, set level. Oh, there's a logger, an optional logger. That's cool. Ah, yes, perfect. Okay, I should be able to do this then. Bugzilla2Fedmsg.utils, because that should be the one that is created here, right? Bugzilla2Fedmsg.utils. Okay, that should be the one. Let's see if that works now. Yes, that's much more interesting. So here you see I'm looking for this email address, and then I'm looking for this email address, and I get those many messages. So how many do I have? 1, 2, 3 per email address. So 3 messages per email. So assert length of caplog.messages equal 6. There's 2 email addresses, 3 per email address, it's 6. And now, when I go here, I have the same, but I have only 2 more. Well, that's weird. From LV looking for the gun chef. Oh. Can I clear the messages here? Yes. Perfect. That's what I'm gonna do. So here, it's not exactly that. I should look for MSG in caplog.messages if msg.starts with searching FASJSON with. Okay, the number of messages that are from within the cached function should be 2. I should only do it twice. And now I clear my messages. Caplog.clear. I run this again. I don't have more calls. Okay, 0. Do I have a way to reset the call counts of mocks? That's a good question. Unit tests.mock. Reset. There you go. Reset mock. Okay. Caplog clear and test or fake FASJSON. Ooh. With an E, thank you very much. Fake FASJSON.search.reset. It's not reset mock? All the call attributes on the mock object. Well, reset it, so there should be 0, 0, that's even clearer. I'm not calling it, and I don't have any such messages. Let's try this. Good. There is a leftover print somewhere that I'm going to fix. Yes, that's clearly here. Okay, do I still have prints? I do not have prints. Sometimes I do have some leftover prints. Thankfully not here. Not here either. Okay, so I think now we have tested what we wanted to test. I'm going to just run all of them and see if we have holes in our coverage. Of course we do, but do we have more than before? That's the question. Diff cover. I think I may have set that up, right? Yes. Docs.e diff cover. So diff cover is going to check that the, hey, it's 100%. All right. Okay. Okay. So things are going to break if I deploy that to staging without adding the proper configuration, right? So what else do I need to do? The changelog? Probably. Oh yeah, I generate that anyway. Okay, good. Well, I'm gonna test all the environments then. Oh yes, I wanted to test that from here. See how the coverage works. Let's go to run and debug. No, not run and debug. Testing. Run all the tests. Go ahead, do it. It's passed. Okay, is there a way for me to test with coverage? That would be very cool. Like all the tests passed, that's nice. Show output. Okay. Huh. I want to see the coverage. I want to see this new feature. How do I configure this? Location status list tree, no. Ah, run test with coverage. Ah, there it is. Oh, that's the one. Yes, that's this button. Let's see if that works. Yes. Ooh, test coverage. That's beautiful. So it's kept. Now it's telling me this is not covered. Is that right? Yeah, of course, this is not covered because I'm not testing SSL. And what else? This is not covered. Okay, I could test that, I suppose. Yeah, that's really practical because it's right there in my editor. Pretty cool. So I'm not testing this exception handler. Not testing the heartbeat. Okay. Well, I think that's pretty cool. And this is not tested at all because that's the CLI. Well, yeah, I could test that, I suppose. That would make sense. But right now, let's forget about it. Okay, cool. I'm happy to have seen that. It's pretty useful. I think I'm going to use that. Oh, and you get that from your main. Oh, you get that also in your main text list of files, like the list of your files. You see the coverage right here. That's nice. Okay, that's nice. Oopsie. So I have quite a few changes. Let me look at the changes. Changes in the schema. Yeah, that's normal. That's for testing. What about this one? Yep, I remember doing all that. That's good. This utils, yes. I'm gonna run the linter as well. Lint. Make sure I didn't forget anything. Relay. Yeah, that seems fair. And there's also adding the configuration of the cache right here in the relay. Okay. I mean, the relay is the only one using the cache, but seriously, this call should probably be done in the CLI, to be honest. Of course, if I move that now, that's going to break all the tests. Do I really want to do that? That's a good question. It should probably, because like the instantiation of, like the configuration of the cache shouldn't be a responsibility of the relay, even though it would be fair to say that instantiating FASJSON client is also not a responsibility of the relay. it should probably somewhere in the factory somewhere here. Like I should be creating the FASJSON client here and passing it down to Fedmsg to the relay. Same thing for the cache. Right now I'm going to leave it as is. It's not as great as it could be, but I mean, okay. This is the new dependency. Okay. Do I have the, okay, do I have the spec file in there that I would need to add the dependency to? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Okay, that makes things easier. What else? This default, yeah, this configuration change. Okay, I think we have everything. And there is no error in the linting. Okay, good. Well, let's do it then. Okay. Cache the calls to FASJSON. Of course, I need to reference the issue. Fixes, was it 30? Yes, 30. And I'm going to send it to, I'm going to send it here as a pull request to the repo. Let me make sure that I didn't make any mistakes. Okay, that's good. Still fair. That's the cache on the arguments. Really simple. I need to change that because I refactored the configuration up there. I mean, that's good, right? Seems good. Create the pull request. And I'm gonna let CI run and do its work. I'm gonna need to, I'll remember to add the cache configuration in our Ansible repo. I can add it right now, even though it's not deployed, because extra keys don't bother the system. It's not really a problem. So I'm gonna do that. Do I have an extraction? Can I do that here? I can probably do that here, right? I'm gonna open, ooh, that's gonna be fancy. I'm going to open a new Visual Studio Code window and edit the Ansible repo from there. Right, so let's close everything. So there should be somewhere a Bugzilla2Fedmsg.yaml, no, ini, no. This one, that's the one. Configuration for Fedora messaging for Bugzilla, yeah, for Bugzilla2Fedmsg actually, but that's okay. Okay, we have the consumer here. This is all public. I'm not I'm not showing you something that you can see otherwise. And I'm going to add the block that we had on the other window. I'm just gonna do this. I think a memory cache with 60 seconds is fine. I'm just gonna keep it that way. Okay. Save it, or rather commit it, I should say. And remember to turn it back on. Yes, I don't know what all this is, but there's only one. Okay, prepare, or I should say Bugzilla2Fedmsg, prepare the caching configuration. And sync it. And right now it's not going to be used because nothing is going to read this key. So it's all right. Okay. I think that's all. Let us see where CI is at. It's all passed. I'm gonna wait a bit to see if somebody wants to review this, but if it's not done by next week, then I'm going to merge it. I think that is all. There should be a reference to the issue here. Yes, it is. There is. Okay. Okay. I think that's all. We've just added caching to Bugzilla2Fedmsg, and hopefully it's going to make less queries to FASJSON because it was doing a lot of them. All right, let me unshare the screen. And that is all. So thank you for watching. Unfortunately, I have a meeting that I'm already late for. So I'm gonna go there. I can't really spend too much time today chatting with you all. But it was cool having you, and I'll see you next week for another hack, maybe another fix, another feature, somewhere around our Fedora infrastructure applications. I'll see you next week.